There was a video not long ago that got a lot of people's attention. This one here, where we managed to create the perfect attacking link-up. So this right here is the greatest attacking link-up story. So can we build the greatest attacking link-up squad from scratch and offset the huge holes the tactic will cause in the defence? We are likely going to have to outscore the opposition because there is going to be gaps all over this place. And our attacking story will take place at Ligue Caen.
This is said as Caen.
The team that Kylian Mbappe has become the majority owner of. So our goal over the next few seasons is to take this squad, somehow, somewhere, find the perfect link-up attacking system using the front five, get them out of Ligue 2 and into Ligue 1 as we attempt to make the greatest attacking link-up from scratch.
The most important thing is you have to dream.
Well, welcome to Caen. I'm saying Caen, I think that's right. Caen, whichever way you like it. This is Mbappe's new team. He's had no influence in this squad, however, and there's not a lot of money. Now, this team have been out of Ligue 1 for quite a while. If I have a look at the history somewhere, we can see the last time they were in it, I think, was 2019. Yes, and they got relegated in 19th. So this is our base squad. As we go through the seasons and build the quality of the team, we should be able to attract better players to nail that perfect attacking force, that front five, for the perfect link-up. You can see a very early rough setup there. This is all based on that libero tactic that went quite viral over on YouTube. If I load it in, you can see it there. It was called Go to Sleep. It was not only mental as in up front with the front five, but it also had a double libero, wing backs with a half-back. It was so attacking, there's no way you can get constant success with it though, especially against better teams. So for us, we've got to use that front five template, try and make a tactic that will gain success and offset the huge holes in defence that it's obviously going to bring. So in we go with season 1. I have bulked the squad up a little bit to help us on our journey. Free transfers only. Rocher comes in as a left back. Another free transfer was Jean-Philippe Gbamin, formerly of Everton. He's got the all-important role in defensive midfield. How about this signing? Gervinho, 37 years old. He's still got really good physicals for his age. He's going to be one of our front five. I'm not sure where yet. And welcome to our first attempt at the tactic. And there you see it. We've got a front five with 2 attacking midfielders, 2 advanced forwards, with a target forward as the guy that's going to try and link it all up. The defensive midfielders got a lot of work to do, and supplying the bullets will be 2 fullbacks on attack. It's attacking, but it was always going to be. So we've taken that libero one and I've tried to make it more solid. We've got to score goals because we're going to concede a lot as well. Surprisingly though, pre-season friendlies, it was pretty solid stuff. No big crazy scorelines there. Successful overall on a little tour of Belgium and France. Now to make this tactic work, we're going to ask a lot of our defensive midfielder. For it, we need a guy who's got good positioning, concentration, a good all-round central defensive midfielder. That's why I made the move for Gabon in. For this level, he's pretty good. He's got positioning and concentration, which could be a little bit bigger, but his marking, his tackling, his aggression, he's a good, solid defensive midfielder. Higher up the park, the movement's going to come from mostly our attacking midfielders. We're going to ask them to be a little bit wider as well, so they're going to be like false wingers, if that makes sense. You can see by the player instructions that I've slotted on Gervinho, for example, take more risks, dribble more, so he's going to be creative, moving into the channels. But also, we've got a marking specific position, and that will be the fullback on that side. So he's on the right, he'll be marking the left fullback just to help cover. The reason I signed Gervinho is because he can play as a winger. You can see playing out wide. He's got the ability to drift out wide, to cross in, the dribbling. These are key attributes when he's going to play in the middle, but be like a false winger. We've kind of created a new player role, if you like.
If we are not in the same spirit, we cannot win important things.
Team instruction wise, we've kept it pretty basic down here. Not too many in possession because we do have quite a lot of player instructions on each player. So they're going to override them anyway. We have got a high defensive line just because I want to keep these players all together. If we sit back too deep, I just think the gaps are going to be really exposed. So we risk the ball over the top, but that's okay. So we've got our first tactic set. We're ready for the first season. Let's get into it. Into the season we went and we started off really well. 2 goals from 2 of the strikers. That was Bisset and Mendy. These 2 are going to be with us for a while, I think. Mendy's a veteran. He's been with Caen for quite a while, but he's going to be a goal threat, and he's already scored 7 times in 5 matches. At the other end of the experience scale is big Norman Bisset. He's Belgian. He's already scored 3 in 5, and you can see his attributes are starting to shoot. After our first 5 games, the signs were good. Gervinho was getting involved, as was the other attacking midfielder Brahimi. 5 matches undefeated so far. Early signs were good in the way we were playing. The centre-back leaves it there. That's one of our wide forwards. You can see how wide he gets, so he fills the gap where we don't have a winger, which is crucial. He's about to be backed up by the full-back as well. You can see him, number 4. But our advanced forward's doing the work for us here. Little through ball. There's the defensive midfielder. The links up are superb. Patient football. It's not full throttle. It's looking good. These average positions will show you why we cause teams such a problem. When we've got the ball, the wing backs are getting so high up. We have got the 5 up front, absolutely overloading. When we lose the ball, we do get back into some sort of shape. We really are asking the wing backs to do a ton of work. And the number 25, the defensive midfielder, overall position looks a bit like that. So having seen it in action, the first half of the season was pretty spectacular for us. On the 16th of January, we sat top of the table, having only lost the 3 matches.
Oh, we are really happy.
And after 21 games, we have scored 61, so we're nearly rocking at 3 a match. So we're going really well. We don't yet have that attacking link-up we're searching for, but these are mostly the base players we started with, so we've got plenty of time. The second half of the season was absolutely fantastic. In fact, we didn't lose another league match. We finished top of the league by 9 clear points. We banged in 108 goals, conceding 55. I'm more than happy with that. And we'd achieved the perfect attacking link-up with those players that we used. Wonderful. Mendy's already a club legend and he banged in 30 goals this season and 38 overall. Norman looks good, 18 goals for him. But what a season for Gervinho with 15 goals, 10 assists. Okay, that's the perfect start, and I didn't think Ligue would deal with that tactic because how would they? How would they? If you get quality players high up there, and Gervinho, Mendy and Bissett are quality, you're going to completely trample teams. The problem is now we're in Ligue 1 next season, and we're going to have to replace quite a few players to be of some sort of standard. So it's time for Season 2 planning, and as you can see, I've identified the key positions I think we're going to need a bit of a change in. 2 centre-backs and definitely that link-up striker. The rest of the guys will be okay, but I'm going to have an eye on replacing them if we need to. And we're definitely going to need some good recruitment because, as you can see, we are not fancied at all. In fact, we are rated at 450 to 1 and favourites to get relegated. Oh, by the way, a word on the media Dream 11, which is literally PSG.
No.
So we needed a big transfer window, and to be fair to Mr. Mbappe, he did give us a little bit of money. First signing for 2 million was Brazilian Matheus Eno. He's going to be an option in that attacking midfield slot, 27 years old, looks good, and for 2 million, bit of a snip. Experienced Bakayoko for central midfield will be an upgrade, I think, in that defensive midfield slot, formerly of Milan, Napoli, Monaco, Chelsea. 6'5", only 22. What a really good player he looks. He'll be partnered by Loic Mbeso for Metz. He cost me 600,000. I also spent 2 million on Mateus Pereira from Eibar. Bit of a streets baller that we've took a punt on. Free transfer was João Pedro. For a forward link-up player, he looks really good. Released by Fenerbahce, he has his best years in Serie A. I'm hoping we can get a good season out of him. Andriy Philip Coffey. Now this guy is one for the future. We brought him in from non-league football. He only cost me 600,000. So my squad might not be League One quality, but it's definitely bigger and that's going to help. Starting 11 will probably look a bit like that with Bakayoko, João Pedro and Martinho coming in. Now we had a tough start to the season, including this away game at Monaco, but look how quickly we hit them on the break. At half-time we were completely shocking them and led 4-2. However, they came roaring back at us and proved just a little bit too much. We lost an absolute thriller, 5-4. We have made our introduction to Ligue 1 though. Our first meeting with PSG didn't go great, but we did pop a bit of a fight, losing 5-2. However, we definitely surprised a lot of teams, including mighty Marseille. We smashed them 4-1 with Big Norm and Mendy scoring 2 each. In fact, there was a host of teams we scored loads against, including a classic 6-4 away win against Lille. This was the team we went for most of the season, and we'd got that perfect attacking link-up with our new look front 5. It was going really well, and then we got hit with some bad injuries. Mendy was missing for a chunk of games, and goalkeeper Mandrea broke his leg and was out for months. This led to a bit of a sticky patch where we lost a ton of matches in a row out of nowhere. Despite that though, into February, we were shockingly sat in 4th position in our debut season.
You have to dream.
So season 2 is over, and undoubtedly the stars of the show was our beautiful front 5. That shocking run did extend, however, all the way through till the end of March. But we finally broke that run with a bang, smashing Lille 4-0. And that helped us finish off the season with 6 wins out of 7, which led to us finishing 5th and qualifying for next season's Conference League. Way ahead of schedule. We finished 5th Hilariously, we only drew 2 matches the entire season. We were nuts to watch. We won 17, lost 15, scored 89, conceded 77. Thank the Lord for the front 5, that's all I'm saying. Into season 3's planning stage. We've got to keep the formation, we've got to finish in 5th, but again I need a couple of new centre backs. That's because FC Metz triggered Billy's release clause. He left us for 3.8 million. But I did get myself a new exciting left wing back in Lucas Perez on a free transfer. Check out that crossing, dribbling and acceleration. He's going to be a really good left wing back. Despite our great performance last season, the media hate us again, putting us bottom again at 400 to 1. So we went recruiting and I spent a modest 4.1 million. Biggest signing was undoubtedly Andrea Bellotti on a free transfer. Another free transfer was Youssef Demir. Can we actually get the potential unlocked with him? More free transfers. Pak Sang-ho from Birmingham. Going to provide competition for that defensive midfield spot. The lower leagues in England, centre-back Ronnie Edwards on a free transfer. And I spent 3.5 million, the most I've spent yet, on Abdullah Ndi. He's going to be centre-back. He looks a great prospect. And the wing-backs are so important, so we got Hugo Sique in on loan from Marseille with a view to a permanent. Crossing, acceleration, pace, he looks fantastic. There was a clutch of other signings to bulk out the squad, meaning we're all set for our second season in Ligue 1. And we needed a bigger squad this time, because remember, we qualified for Europe. And we started fantastically in that, and Norman is turning into a right baller. He started the season well and he's already valued at 15 to 17 million. Let's keep an eye on him. However, there were early signs that the extra European competition might cause us a bit of a problem in the league. After 4 games, it was just like last season. We'd won 2 and lost 2. It was New Year's Eve, and when Bellotti was on the pitch, he was class. He was just getting injured all the time. To my surprise, European teams could not deal with us in the Conference League. We won 6 out of 6, including this ever so quiet game against Wolves, where it ended 6-4. Our boy Mendy's still doing the business. So with those added European fixtures, the league form was a bit up and down. I'd also noticed our promising striker Big Norman kept getting offside, so I went to his movement training and got him to start learning how to beat the offside trap. That's only going to help him. To be fair to him, he was doing the business constantly in Europe as well. A hat-trick there against Sarajevo, but then they turned it around and beat us on penalties, and for the love of God, please look at those match stats. I'm still not over it. 36 shots we had. They had 4 and scored 3 of them, knocked us out on penalties. So with those added games in Europe, we were just a bit inconsistent in the league. Sometimes brilliant like against Lens there, sometimes terrible. We got a good free transfer in halfway through the season in Amin Harit. He used to be at Marseille. But perhaps slightly disappointingly, we finished 8th this season. And that was despite conceding 20 goals less than last year. So at least we're getting a bit more solid. But we've definitely done our goal. We are now an established Ligue 1 side. We finished top 10 twice. Just how far can we take them? We possibly brought too many players in this season. We only spent 4.4 million, but we brought a truckload in on free transfers, and maybe that just messed with the team a bit. Having said that, the front 5, the chemistry is absolutely perfect, just like we want it. So there is something to work with. We just need to get a little bit better. You'll notice Kofi came into the side in the drop-off striker role, and he was fantastic. He scored 9 goals in Ligue 1, 14 overall, and he replaces Bellotti. When Bellotti played, he was class, but he just had too many injuries. He missed 6 months of the season through various problems. So combined with his wages, I think this summer we'll cash in on Bellotti. But there really isn't a lot wrong with this team. You can see we've got plus 44 chances in our favour against teams. If we can stop conceding quite as many, we could do something special, because we've definitely got that perfect link-up rocking. So the plan for Season 4's recruitment was quality over quantity. And we smashed it out of the park first off, getting Emmanuel Kenny Emega for 4.7 million to play up front. A 6'5" striker who's pretty much got it all, that is a snip. Mendy had another good season with 16, but he's 33 now, so he's going to be more of an impact player next season. Another massive signing in. And on a free transfer, it's Savio. He wants to be a winger, but he's the perfect false winger for us. We'll retrade him. What a signing. We also signed Han Noah Masengo. He's going to compete for that defensive midfield slot. I like him. We actually had a really good transfer window and we brought in 10.5 million. Bellotti went to Celtic. And after 1 season, Pak Sang-ho went to Burnley. So now we've got a bit of a new front line, so we need to build up that chemistry again. We've got Kenny Omega up there. We've got Savio in there. It might take him a little while to click, but I think it's the right move. So we've got that tactic. It failed a bit at times last season, so we've got another version. It's a bit of a risk. We're going to go for inverted wing backs to come into the middle. All of the goals we concede, you won't be surprised to know, are from through balls, just taking advantage of all the gaps. So I'm thinking that we use these inverted wing backs to jump into these gaps here to help out our defensive midfielder. We might run with that this season. These are trying times, so to help me out I appointed my new assistant manager, Sergio Ramos. So we had some new players, a new version of the tactic, we were excited. But unfortunately, Monaco hadn't read the script and absolutely ripped us apart. Hurt. That hurt. But we didn't panic. In our next game was PSG. What a hard start this is to the season. But Savio scored his first goal for the club. We scored the winner through another new signing, Omega. We blooming beat PSG.
Thank you. Good night.
That was a great response to that opening day defeat, and the first half of the season was pretty good. Midpoint, we sat 6th in the league. It's a bit of a conundrum because the two inverted wing-backs are helping, but they're not supplying as many assists as normal. For example, left wing-back Perez only has 2 assists this season. But we stuck with it, and there were some definite high points, and Savio had a great first season. 10 goals, 14 assists. We'd retrained him to be an attacking midfielder, he's now a natural. And yet again, we've got that perfect attacking link-up. I really like that front 5. Really good season, we just fell away really badly at the end, losing 5 out of 7. But successful, we finished 6th, qualified for the Europa League this time. We're definitely an established top 10 club in France now. We've got that perfect attacking link-up. I'm wondering how we can possibly improve it for a club our level. I'm still not totally happy with the tactic. I don't think this is the way to go. I've even tried a full-back one side, inverted wing-back the other. I don't know what to do. Going into season 5, an easy place to improve was centre-back, and I signed Ute here, who's a 6'5" centre-half from Le Havre. He cost me 3.3 million. I wanted striker cover, and I picked up Sebastian Haller, 34 years old, he'll be perfect. I see him playing on the bench because I really don't need to improve this strike force, look at it. And it's a good job as well because we were subject of a takeover, which sounds great, but they actually cut my transfer budget to a pathetic 1 million. And as usual, the media weren't impressed with our squad, just ranking us 11th this time, despite us qualifying for the Europa League last season. Going into season 5, we changed the tactic a little bit, just a little bit. We changed the attacking midfielders to support, and I'd removed the marking specific position. I'd also changed the fullbacks to wing-backs, possibly our most aggressive move yet, and the defensive midfielder, gonna experiment with him being a ball-winning midfielder to try and stop these through balls. I took one more risk with a free transfer of Calvin Phillips to provide defensive midfield competition at 32. Come on Calvin, you can do it. This looked to be the season where things were really clicking. We are well on our way to having that perfect attacking strike force we strive for, because Ligue 1, most of the teams just can't deal with it. This game against one of the better teams in Lille, we just ran them absolutely ragged. The idea behind having these false wingers is completely working. Savio electric. Our best victory yet, including being undefeated in the Europa League. We sat 3rd in the league table, only losing the 2 matches, one of which was away at PSG. You're always going to concede goals with a tactic like that, but at least we're keeping it a bit more calm. And you might notice we've gone back to what we do best. This is the first tactic we used all the way back in Ligue 2. I thought, sod it, let's use this one, and it's worked so well. However, with success comes problems, and we don't have the biggest squad in the world. And the transfer budget they've gave us is completely pathetic, and the wage budget is busted. We were playing so well, I had high hopes for the French Cup, but then Calvin Phillips took the worst penalty of all time, and we lost to a 2nd division team. We were absolutely flying in the Europa League, and we went 2-0 up in the second leg against Benfica. But we got complacent, Benfica came right back at us, and in the 90th minute they scored a winner. So within days we were out of Europe and the French Cup. Thankfully, Ligue 1 form was fantastic, and in one of his farewell appearances for the club legend Mendy scored the winner against PSG. And that was with 10 men as well. What a boy. We round out the season as the best of the rest in France. Only PSG finished above us. We scored 106 goals for the best in the league and conceded 53. Going back to the original tactic was the key, and even Youssef Demir, his career seems revitalised. He played a good chunk of the matches, ended with 11 goals and 7 assists. Omega with 30 league goals, 37 overall, he's going to be a wanted man. We've made Kofi into a true great striker. And Big Norman continues to plunder the goals in. And don't forget Savio, our wonderful fake winger. 11 goals, 14 assists in his 2nd season with us. You see, I think we've achieved our goals now. I think that's as good as we're going to get. But I can't help thinking I want one more go at it to try and win a trophy with them. We're going into season 6. And after that penalty miss, we're going to have to sell Calvin. So we're now the 2nd best team in France, but the media don't think so, they think we're 9th. And now considering we're in the Champions League this season, the board are going to give us a good budget, right? Nope. To try and get some funds together, I sold a load of fringe players. but it was mostly free transfers all the way. We've got ourselves a new striker in Fortus Ioannidis. He's came in from Udinese. Brand new goalkeeper. I thought we needed to improve that position. Zion Suzuki comes in from Belgian football on a free transfer. Another free transfer is Stefan Bajcetic from Liverpool, central midfielder. We're moving up a level here. I've also rated Bayern Munich's second team for Bence Dardai. I think he could be a quality player in that attacking midfield slot. But our total outlay is 0. It means the season 6 team looks a bit like this. We've got a gaping gap at centre back because our player got tempted by Saudi. There he is, and he's gone to end his career over there. He left on a free transfer. So this will be our last score date. We've got a really good team now. We need to cement our position as the best of the rest in France. And the Champions League's to come. Maybe a cheeky cup run. Let's go. I mean, does this count as a trophy? We start the season by winning the Trophy de Champion against PSG. We took it down on penalties and gained our first trophy. We started the season with a bang with loads of big wins, but I did expect as the Champions League got going, things would catch up with us a bit. Throughout this story, we've never really nailed down the centre-backs. We've brought in more reinforcements. I went down to Ligue, which is probably our level with our finances, and signed Ismail Decore. He's not the most physically imposing centre-back, but he looks a decent prospect. With all the games coming in, I bulked up the attacking options with Ademola Lookman from Man City for 3 million. Halfway it looks good. We're sitting second in the league, and more importantly, we're just above PSG. Now, I'm being realistic with all these games now, and I've kind of sacrificed the Champions League. We're not going to win it, so I'm rotating for that. The second half of Season 6 was more of the same. We won, we lost, we won, we lost. Too many matches. In the Champions League, we did beat Arsenal at home, but they turned it around in emphatic fashion in the second leg. And the league kind of tapered off a bit, and we finished 5th, missing out on the Champions League by a point. I sound like a broken record, but we've just had too many injuries. If you can see here, we've recently returned injury 4, but major injuries down here, 4. And that's been the case all the way through the season. But we did have a chance to win another trophy, a major trophy, in the French Cup final. Unfortunately, it was, of course, PSG.
You have to dream.
Now, this was backs to the wall stuff when we fell behind early, but we've got a right team of personalities here, and we fought back. And in extra time, we even took the lead. But pretty much straight away, PSG responded. And we ran out of legs, and that's Jonathan Rowe, who scored the winner for PSG. A heartbreaking loss. That's right, Jonathan Rowe from Norwich, now one of the best players in the world playing for PSG. So what a heartbreaker. We did get our first trophy, if you call it that, but I'm counting it, me. And we lose in the French Cup. Bit disappointing to drop out the Champions League spots. One more season? Look, the goal was to always form the perfect partnership, and no matter who we put in there now, Lookman jumps in, next to Dardai with Savio injured, it's still pretty slick. We're going to have one more go at it with some new signings. The problem, as always, was the transfer budget. They really don't want us to succeed, it seems. So we had to sell to bring players in, and I didn't want to get rid of Suzuki, but he went to Saudi for 30 million. That did mean that we brought in 31.5 million, so we had a little bit to spend. I replaced Suzuki with Luis Jr. from Brazilian football. He's going to be my new goalkeeper. Centre-back Kimpembe on a free transfer. 3 million for Robin Lenormand, another centre-back. I took a punt on Jadon Sancho. He's just been released by my arch rivals Aston Villa, free transfer. And we've agreed a permanent signing after this loan period for Fale Mielu. He's on from Monaco, but look at his pace, rapid. About to get started in the season, and true to form, another massive injury. Bajcetic, 7 months, cruciate ligament. Replaced him with Pierre Ekwa from Inter for 9 million as we get season 7 underway. This was the season where we just unleashed going forward, goals going in everywhere. We had that perfect combination up front, apart from when young Jadon played, and true to form, he was a bit of an outcast. Halfway point in the season, we're second, only 2 behind PSG. Savio is lighting it up this season with 16 goals, 14 assists. That's 30 goal contributions in 28 matches. His value is now through the roof. Now, this was our most prolific season yet in terms of goal scoring. I'm so happy that day one and Norman's still at the club, and he scored 30 times this season for his best season yet. But we'd also conceded more than ever. That's a 5-6 away win at Lyon, and that was pretty normal this season. When it came down to it, we conceded just too many goals and finished second to PSG, so we're the best of the rest again. But as you can see, we scored 110 goals, which is more than anyone by a mile. But we had the 3rd worst defensive record in the league, conceding 71. I have had such massive problems at centre-back. I've tried so many combinations. The veterans, Kimpembe and Lenormand, didn't really work out. We made it all the way to the French Cup semi-final, but again, we lost on penalties. And we also got through to the semi-finals of the Europa League. In an epic against RB Leipzig, we fell just short. 6-5 on aggregate, gutted. That meant we finish our story and without a major trophy. If PSG weren't involved, I think we would have had multiple League Uns and multiple cups. But I'm proud we stuck to our guns with that front five. Whatever combination of players, they seem to bed into it really nicely. This season, Omega has hardly played. He has had such a bad time with injuries. Look at this, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 2 months. He's missed so much of the season. And overall, injuries kind of crippled us because we don't have the biggest squad, and we do know that the board have not backed us from day one. Check this out.
Are you ready?
So in our 7 years at the club, we bought 54 players in at a value of 67 million. That's not much. It's less than 10 million a season. We sold 27 at a value of 72. So we've actually done this by gaining profit for the club at 5 million.
Thank you.
I don't know what stunts Kylian is pulling, but where's the money going? Where's the money? We've got them in the Champions League. We've done really well in the league, but we have to generate our own money all the time. But that was a fun story. Really enjoyed it. We could have done better with a better spread of centre-backs. We lost some good ones to Saudi. If you were to make this tactic a tiny bit more solid, you would absolutely fly. The amount of through balls we lost through the middle was outrageous. Simply dropping one of these players back in there would do the job. But that's not what this story was about. Oh, and by the way, the frontline chemistry was that good, even Jadon Sancho got accepted into it.